home. Is it ENCE? It could be if they can't win this map. In fact, it definitely will be if they don't win this map. There's no could about it.
Brazilians to start things off on the T side. Lots of utility in the hands of Fallen and Taco. Looking towards that ladder and in a position at the moment. Looking to see if there's any shenanigans afoot from the ENCE side, but there is none. They ends up playing a really safe setup. Actually, it's an A retake setup. They want to put more of the defensive forces towards B to begin with, and that's a pretty good read because, as you know, we can see that there's a couple lurkers towards that Ivy position, but the main brunt of the attack, the main attack is coming through to that B bomb site, and Ali's going to spot the initial dart across there. Sergey is going to take Mayen's head off, and you know what? MIBR call the abort. They're going to wrap it back around towards the ladder room, combine with the Ivy players to snap onto that A bomb site.
What are they going to be able to find, though, is the real question. X7 and company are still here left to defend this site, and they're getting a rotation out as well to the back halls. KNG, though, so far able to deal with that rotation through the back side. But Alu and Sunny now chiming in, putting a stop to this round very quickly. A very dominant performance here from the Finns on the pistol. Not a good look from Made in Brazil on that pistol, but it is still obviously way too early to say anything. But at least if you're ENCE, maybe that helps you a little bit, right? I mean, you obviously just lost your map pick in the previous. Things were looking quite rough. To be able to start strong on train would be the world to them, I think.
Oh, for sure. And what's really depressing for MIBR in that round is that they didn't get the bomb down. They would have loved to get that bomb down, just get that extra money. Even if they don't decide to commit to a full buy in this round, they could get like a hero rifle or maybe just a deagle or two, just to keep that pressure up. But with no bomb plant, they just have to go for that full save.
Rock out with the Glocks out, Dan.
Indeed. Well, they got the P250. So they got $300 of investment in this round. So one kill is job done, really. Getting a bomb down is with no utility is probably impossible. Unless they go for that B rush and kill Sergey instantly, they're not getting the bomb down on B either. So the kill is really the most likely thing that they can accomplish. So that's their success criteria here.
Yeah, it might even be kind of using this to just talk a little bit more, right? I mean, they're just kind of staying back, staying passive, just maybe using this as like a Suedo timeout even, rather than rushing and getting it over with all the Glocks that will probably just get decimated.
Yeah,
they want
those
ice in the kicker, maybe even, so to speak, against ENCE.
Yeah, a favorite phrase of DeBez. He's always talking about ice in the kicker.
Yeah.
That's where I know that phrase from.
We are in Anaheim after all, so might as well make an American football reference.
Nice. And, you know, they've also served to diminish the utility of the ENCE side, so not enough it would seem as there's a big nade coming in. Some damage being done. There's that one kill, and a bomb goes down as well, so that is a huge bonus. They might even be able to get another kill. Oh, and they're getting dinked. Just a Glock, though. They don't have that much firepower, so ENCE can just walk forward. KNG, that P250 eventually goes down, so there you go.
I mean, they got more than they should have gotten out of this, to be fair. Even with the team kill involved in that, I should have had.
Yeah, it's really, really nice to see.
Oh, man.
For MIBR, they are going to be happy.
Yes. They could go straight to double op if they want to, which I wouldn't be surprised, but no, KNG will get the SG instead. No op for either body. They just want to get the utility and make sure they have head armor.
I like this a lot because I think that, especially on the T side, you're investing a lot in getting a pick in the early to mid rounds with the orbs, and if the other team plays just a passive setup, you can find yourself in this late round scenario, which is very awkward. So I like that they're going for a more dynamic setup here with the rifles, and you can see that ENCE themselves going to a pretty invested forward setup here, taking over ladder for the player on E-box as well. They're well geared up to receive any outside aggression.
Yeah, very default setup for Made in Brazil. Again, Mayer, the Ivy player, Taco, the Inner Halls player. You'll see that time and time again. KNG and Fur will kind of fluctuate on what they do. And Blast, Made in Brazil, are favoring either triple Ivy setups, inner executes, or like slow pick plays with double op. None of those things are actually happening this round, though. They're just playing a little bit more of a standard kind of approach. Just slowing things down, biding their time. Still plenty of utility and plenty of clock to burn.
I like the lurk smoke from Taco. That actually does invest one player deeper onto the B-bomb site, and they also get a second rotation into B. Just throwing that one lurk smoke really creates a lot of questions, and ENCE don't really know what's going on right now. And here we go. Now the push starts to come through. The smoke, actually not quite deep enough. That's supposed to be a bit deeper, so that's quite awkward for MIBR right now. They've got two players around Ivy. They can't connect to the ladder players. They're really out of sync at the moment, and they're going to have to spend more time rotating. So this is going to be a really late bomb site hit.
Yeah, they almost ran out of clock before as well, so they need to be very careful about this. That is one of the pitfalls of playing the slower style. If you're not finding picks early or getting like an early advantage, it causes you to get bogged down to a 5-on-5 where everything kind of at a standstill. No one's really moved very much. But they do get that kill onto ladder room thanks to Taco coming over from the inner hall, so now they can start swinging into this outer bomb site, using utility to keep pushing forward and more forward. KNG also finding a kill, and they might just get this bomb plant in time. Indeed, they should. There it is.
And there it is. ENCE have been jockeyed out of position as well, so they can't really do anything for a retake. So nicely done. I have to say, I think Taco's a really awesome player to watch, actually. He's one of those players that I think flies under some people's radars in terms of the smart stuff that he does. He does a lot of really smart stuff we saw in this round in particular. He's the guy that gets that lurk smoke out there, and then he has that tricky situation where he throws down that nade around ladder to basically fake out the player that he knows he has a 1v1 with. And so that guy's like, this nade is bouncing. Do I look away? Do I keep looking into the nade? I don't know. Taco dropped with the perfect timing. He knew how to play that and just completely just crushed that 1v1. And getting ladder control like that was pivotal. What killed the rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's so hard to get nowadays with T's because you're either having to spin like 2 Molotovs to clear someone out, or you have to get really lucky with the pot flash, which usually they can hear you pull the pin and time out. And yeah, it can be really difficult to control ladder as a T nowadays. It's been that way for a while, to be fair, but they do get it thanks to Taco, and that definitely was the turning point in the round. I think you're spot on with that. But now double op's actually in play for ENCE. It's going to be Alu and X7 taking up the snipers. Both of them towards outside for the moment.
Scary stuff for ENCE right now. The double orbs, they've got no money. If they lose this round, the rounds in the future will look quite different because they're going to be broke. And MIBR will start building up their own bank and becoming more and more dangerous as time goes on. Yeah. Smoke once again, pretty much the same spot as before, so that's deliberate.
Pretty much the same opening as well from last round. So you're seeing Main Brazil really settle into the game with their default. Just kind of really going to the bread and butter, same positions as they've seen time and time again on Train throughout Blast Premier and throughout so far these few rounds. Nothing too crazy, just playing the clock, waiting to see if anyone's going to push, which there is a big aggression right now in TCOM between Aerial and Sunny, and that could be a trap that gets springed any moment now. It could be a big problem for Made in Brazil if they're not careful. Especially, again, the clock is also their enemy.
Oh, X7 heard that flashbang connect with the player, so he knows someone's pushing at the same time. And so he'll reposition to the back line. KNG, though, he has the position first, and he delivers a deadly headshot to X7, and that's going to start the round off here now for MIBR, as Alu has to call question of everything around this position. Coming in from CT, doesn't know where KNG is, although KNG will have his back to Alu. Not expecting that rotation, and now the bomb comes through to B. Sergey with it all to do, but the flashbang has him absolutely dead to rights, as Alu now, it all rests on him. Another great flashbang. Time and again, MIBR gaining advantage with their utility usage and their timing as a team, but Alu keeps it going.
Aerial coming in now with the UMP, trying to see if they can make this retake work, but Mayern has other things to say about it as he finds Alu leaving Aerial all by his lonesome. He has upgraded to an AK-47, but there's just way too many things to worry about at once, and Made in Brazil do find a second round there. And again, this is a variation off of something we saw them do quite a lot at Blast. What they've done is with Fallen kind of taking over primary opping duties, they've relied more and more on KNG rifling, and what they're using him a lot for nowadays is pairing him up with someone at Ivy and using him to create pressure. And this is a multi-pronged approach because it's either going to lead to an outer split or you're going to lead to some type of inner pinch. And they do favor these inner pinches quite a lot from what I saw at Blast. And so that's just KNG being used in a different way. And he's been very effective throughout this game thus far, running those types of options.
And it's cool to see that you know, as part of that default, as you're highlighting, the choice to use the lurk smoke Ivy, because it does create the situation where if a team puts the smoke on the left or the right, which is normal, that still allows the CTs to actually look into Ivy if they want, or to throw a deep counter smoke if they want. But the smoke that's being thrown by MIBR, it just creates so many questions because you don't know what's behind it. So yeah, really loving what they're doing so far. It seems to be working out quite well.
Inner set piece here from Made in Brazil. Plenty of utility to work with to get their way in. Just the one player up close to deal with, and he's been blinded out and taken care of with ease. Still is a 1 CT left here in this fight that they'll have to clear out. They've already caught Aerial on the backstab. And everything's going swimmingly for Made in Brazil. A very efficient anti-eco, that has to be said. Even trying to farm some cash with this SMG from Fur. He's already gotten 2 kills with the MAC-10, so it's more than paid for itself already. Trying to see if he can't get a bit more. Instead, it'll be KNG who does it. So there you have it. Made in Brazil taking a little bit of a lead here early on Train. Economy for the CT side is in a dire place, too, because they can buy here, but they're kind of in that weird buy-save rotation if they keep losing rounds. So it's really playing into Made in Brazil's hands.
And one thing about these two teams when we kind of put them in this matchup against each other is that it seems like MIBR have a way better grasp of how to make their own T-side click.
Yeah.
The work that they've been doing is very apparent, but hold that thought for a moment. The flashbangs come through to get themselves towards E-Box. KNG gets the initial trade. They're out there looking to frag, but it is ENCE holding things down for the time being. Fallen has to save it. He's the only person with health or position at this point, and he is now the only man standing against 4. The in-game leader looking to lead by example, as all eyes are on him, as everybody waits, staring at the death cam. Fallen is the one who still is out there trying to do some damage to the economy of ENCE. That's really like a kill or 2 is perhaps his best case that he can hope for. Let's see if they give him any edges. Absolutely not. Ali holds the angle, and ENCE pick up another round. So that quick aggressive play didn't work out for MIBR, but we've been seeing their success from the slow defaults. So
yeah, I mean, you can't blame them, right? You want to change things up. You want to try to change the pace and catch your opponent off guard. Also, they probably thought that the CTs wouldn't have that much utility. It's a little bit easier to do fast outer plays when you don't have to worry about some of the incendiaries and smokes in your face. It just didn't quite work out there. And so ENCE are going to be able to tie things right back up after losing the previous 3 rounds in a row. And a couple of those rounds, we saw Made in Brazil survive with 5 or 4 players, so definitely building up their economy. Still have all the SGs that they could want. Finally, Fallen will get a crack at the AWP. They'll take a timeout as well to discuss how they want to work things. I imagine they'll probably play default once more or triple Ivy to give Fallen a chance to flex this op a bit.
One thing I really like about teams that don't just immediately bring the AWP out, even if they have great AWPers, is because it creates a lot more guesses. It also shows that that team is prepared to play with no AWPs, and they know how to do that. They know how to play low econ, they know how to play higher econ rifles with 1 AWP, with 2 AWPs. And when that first AWP appears, you don't know when that's going to be. It's probably going to catch you out. And that's kind of the point of it, I think, in many cases. And 7 goes really aggressive. He's been absolutely murdered by Mayan.
That seemed really ill-advised, Dan.
Oh my god.
I don't know about all that. I'm not sure about that one.
Well, this is the wrong round, I think, for that play to be called. That's unfortunate.
I can't believe he committed even through the fire. Like, I mean, that was...
This is what we call a build order loss, if we're talking about, StarCraft terms.
Yeah, again, and Made in Brazil love triple Ivy. If ENCE did their demo watching from Blast, they would have realized that Made in Brazil favor triple Ivy as their favorite way to open rounds. And so if you're going to try to run an Ivy aggression into a triple Ivy heavy team, and you're doing it through fire...
Yeah. You've kind of missed... Yeah, you haven't thought it through entirely.
Yeah, that's, I think a build order loss is the fair one. If you're a StarCraft fan, you would get that.
Yeah.
Or, you lose the game rock, paper, scissors, right? I mean, that's really the other simple way to look at it.
It's definitely not a good look for ENCE. Again,
I don't mind it, like, in the sense that if you're a CT team, you want to throw in things like that every now and then, but it just seemed like the wrong time. But we have the gift of hindsight, obviously.
Yeah, and it's also the fact that MIBR are building a lot of their rounds out of their Ivy default, that it makes a lot of sense that ENCE would want to try to assert some control there to basically disrupt the flow of the default for MIBR. You have to disrupt the other team and what their game plan is at the top level. That's something you just have to be able to do. And obviously that wasn't maybe the way to do it. But
maybe just go for something else, right? Maybe control ladder, right? They even had a T-com push that was pretty nice. It just didn't come into play, but they at least showed they could take that territory. So I think that those are better options, but...
And once again, it's the case that ENCE are doomed. They can't win consecutive rounds.
Yep.
And here's the run boost, a very classic run boost.
Triple Ivy again. Fur and Taco, usually the ones that are holding the other positions. It's usually Fallen, KNG, and Taco playing this, or Mayon, excuse me.
And there's the punish peek from Fallen. Gets the... Oh man, gets Aerial all the way towards ladder room. Great stuff from Fallen. That is what he does. Battle Sniper, quick reactions, close range. Shotgun over the AWP. Mayan will keep him safe for now. They'll see the rest of the players of MIBR. They know what's going on, but they are unable to stop the movement of these Brazilians. They take this A-bomb site by force, and there's nothing to stop it at this point. Sergey with a deagle against 3. And he is not looking to be in any workable positions here with that deagle, unfortunately. This is perhaps one of the hardest sites in the game to retake. And it's not looking great for Sergey. He might want to actually try to save what he has.
Yeah, has armor and a deagle. Could be of value for sure, unless he can somehow find a way to get one of these 2 guns that have fallen off, but I don't think he's going to get anywhere near that. So Made in Brazil off to a roaring start. This will be their 5th round in the last 6 played. Just a 2-0 start from ENCE, and since then it's been a rough one. See some Brazilian fans out there. I'm sure they're pretty excited about how things are going so far with Made in Brazil a map up and starting to build a pretty nice lead here on their T-side train.
Oh, for sure. And this is the mode you want to see Fallen in, playing close range with the AWP. That's one of the reasons why you want him to be the dedicated AWPer on this map. There is no map that better accentuates and complements Fallen's strengths than Train.
I'll always remember like him back in the day when like they were a powerhouse on Train and they had like one of the biggest map streaks in CSGO history on Train. I think they were like somewhere between like 18 and 20 games in a row on Train. I think that was something like 2016 time period. And I feel like what Fallen was always so famous for was playing the Ivy position with the AWP and just being able to battle out anybody who would push Ivy or push Olaf or whatever. He was just, like you said, that battle sniper up close range, able to just dispatch of people. And I think he always had that uncanny characteristic of being able to get 2 or more kills in positions where he should be one and done or nothing at all. He's very, very good at that. And so to see him with the op in his hands again and feeling it is like, it brings back memories. And hopefully it's a sign that this is a tactical adjustment that will help propel Made in Brazil forward again.
Well, he's got to keep things going. It's just 5-3 at the moment. And ENCE are back in with the buy. Alu has an AWP. And at this point, they know what MIBR are doing. I think they understand about this 3-man default through Ivy. They get it at this point, I think. It's fair to say.
Right.
But they have to find a solution that works effectively, and that's the problem. Oh, there's a quick spot with the flashbang. They see Taco's there, but just seeing Taco there does show them, okay, they're running the default. They get it.
I mean, here's the thing, like Triple Ivy is not some innovative new thing that no one else is doing. It's just that Made in Brazil do it at a higher frequency than probably anyone else currently. And
for sure,
it sets them up for things later on down the road. It sets them up for whenever they keep doing this, now they can just run you a heavy inner execute that you're not really prepared for because you're so having to worry about the Ivy pressure and worried about the, obvious peaks from T-connector and then worrying about them maybe taking control of ladder as well. So it kind of is multi-purpose. It's served by Made in Brazil doing that so often. And again, they'll leave KNG. It's worth noting that Maynard's the default Ivy player, but when they run this play, they always put KNG there because they want an entry force that can play back halls and towards Ivy, especially if they decide to divert back to outer.
Counter utility being used here by ENCE. They seem to have a read after this B play. It's a pretty good setup. They got a committed player on the bomb site. That is going to be Sunny by the coils, by the cogs. He's going to have to do a lot here. Sergey there with assistance. Great damage from the M4. He's still alive and kicking, as is Sunny. He will get traded eventually, but he's done his job. Just 2 players left. They have to force the bomb plant. Sergey, does he go forwards? He's going to wait for his teammates. That bomb's been planted. Taco, 1 versus 3 on his hands. It's going to be a very tough situation to try to recover from. They know exactly where he is. There's only one way out of this situation, and it's headshots. Taco can't get the first one, and that will be the round for ENCE. Much needed round picked up. Great read on the round as well.
Yep.
As you say, that default is going to either be inner or a set piece from ladder and T mains, and they guessed correctly with their setup.
I think here's the one thing I will say. Like, this is probably the 3rd or 4th time this half that Made in Brazil have come down to the wire on the clock. And the last couple of times that they weren't punished for it. They were able to get the kill they needed at the last second, like Taco getting the ladder room control like several rounds ago that they needed right at the last second to get outer open and be able to get the plant and get the round. But that round, it showed you the opposite side of the coin of that scenario where if one little thing goes wrong, all of a sudden you either don't get the plant at all or you give up so much to get it. And it wound up really being their burden in that round.
Rinse and repeat. The Ivy defaults continue. And ENCE, they got burned badly by going for the 2-man push, so they're just letting it happen. But there's been a cadence to this. Around the 1 minute mark, we'll see that MIBR will have their players back around the halls, ready to either go inner for the B attack or set up that A push. Will there be a deviation now? This would be a great moment to deviate your default and maybe actually commit 3 players through Ivy.
Yeah.
This would be a good spot to do something like that because they've committed ENCE or conditioned ENCE to understand their timings now. But instead, they will go back at this more or less the same timings.
Yep.
Slightly slower than average, but this is the rotation we've been seeing.
Yeah. Again, when I've watched them play train with Mayern, they ran this like 75% of the time. And then that's an arbitrary number, but it's just kind of a rough estimate. And then other than that, it was like double op slow play, which they haven't had a second out up yet. So they're just kind of keeping up with their normal pattern. And this time, again, it'll lead their way to the inner bomb site. Again, they've left KNG as the Ivy player, but he's actually shuffling back over pretty quickly to T-Con. So he wants to help this attack rather than backstab. Taco leading the charge here up the sidewalk, pushing really close to Z before finally getting caught by Sunny. Bomb doesn't get planted, but Sunny just biding his time, playing very patiently. Really good trigger discipline to wait this all out. He's just not done yet, Dan. He's continuing to dispatch of players on Made in Brazil. He's won this round almost single-handedly.
Yeah, Sunny played this so well. That setup was really cool because you could see the way that it was designed. It was actually to punish the players who run sidewalk, to get overcommitted, because you get to a certain point, you haven't seen anyone, and now you're exposed to 3 people at once. That's kind of the point of that, because typically when the Ts will do a fast play, they will try to send 2 players very quickly up this sidewalk to try to get control of connector immediately. But you can see that the players on site, Sunny, didn't reveal himself, and that was the masterstroke for sure. Great play from him, and it's tied it up 5-5.
Yeah. Finally, some rounds in a row for ENCE.
Do MIBR, do they respond by changing things up here?
I'm not sure. I don't think they've really hit that point yet where they're probably too concerned or too worried about making big adjustments. I think they just want to tidy up, maybe get a bit faster, maybe use their utility a bit better, and just be a bit more cautious when they clear certain angles.
Well, the opening is different here. No Ivy default again. We just get 1 man there to thread the lurk smoke, I imagine.
Yeah, they just get to this earlier, right? Instead of doing it 45 seconds off on the clock, they're doing it right away. But it's still KNG being the guy at Ivy instead of Mayern.
Here we go, faster play. Only 1 man playing B, but he's very far back. It's Sergey. He will not be able to stop the bomb plant. Spoilers. He'll be able to take position around oil to try to protect some position in this yard, but you can see that Fur's already up there underneath connector, and it's been smoked off. That means Sergey has a lot to do here. He'll get traded out by Fur, and that might be it. That might be game over.
Yep.
They can't get back into the bomb site.
This is like the dream scenario on Inner Execute. Is Fur getting this deep towards Z, but while the bomb gets planted, getting so much space denied to ENCE. Now they have no footing to go for this retake as quickly as they would like to, but they still find a way to break through anyhow. Aerial doubles up right there. Mayern able to respond and keep it even at a 3-on-3, but ENCE still do have the health advantage as they start pressing their way forward. They also might be able to use their utility to their advantage, and the kit 7 is able to find Taco Sunny onto Mayern, and there you have it. ENCE actually still pulled that off despite the fact that Made in Brazil looked comfortable throughout that whole process. I mean, they got so much room. They got the bomb down quickly. Man, that seems so ideal for them.
If they got 1 kill MIBR and just get X7 to come off the bomb once, I think the round is over because the bomb was really far ticked. Basically, everything had to go right, and everything did go right. If one thing goes wrong, I don't think they win that round. So, amazing retake. This is phenomenal. This quick flashbang out there. What a double from Aerial. That is clutch. Very clutch stuff there from him, and that was the play that made it work. That broke them into the bomb site in a timely enough manner for it to still be difficult, but they still put it off. That is a huge round to win, and I got to say, Dust, that's got to be a round that gives them a lot of confidence.
Yeah, 3 rounds in a row now for ENCE, by the way. This is the most rounds they've run in a row since, like, round 8 of the first half of Nuke or something like that. Like, it's I
think it's the first time they've won more than 2 in a row.
In this whole series, you might be right. Yeah, I think you are right.
So that's pretty good. But the bomb is going down pretty much every round. And it's because of the defaults, the way that MIBR are defaulting, they're getting so many bomb plants. But we'll see now if it's going to be a change of pace for MIBR, if they have anything else up their sleeves to throw ENCE off again, or try to do so at least. That last round should have been MIBR's for sure.
Yeah, that actually surprises me they did not convert that, especially with first positioning. Seemed like that was destined to be a Made in Brazil round, but ENCE, to their credit, found a way to win. Now we see the inners spill out here again. Sergey having an easy time there with the M4, collecting a couple of kills, but this bomb is actually still going to get planted when it's all said and done. So main goal accomplished. And they won't get much else, but still, that's what they wanted more than anything.
And the decision not to get that second AWP. Wanting to keep the creeks, wanting to run the solo AWP. All right, so ENCE, you know, they've definitely recovered here. This is great. You'll feel really good about a CT side if you get 10 rounds, I think. So I don't know if they'll be able to get that 10 on the board, but at this point, they're going to have a lot of comfort, I think. And it feels like the game's wide open now. Whereas before, I was getting a little bit worried for ENCE. As MIBR, they were running that default, was just, it felt like there was no answer to it initially. Fallen posting up here, so they are again, deviating out of that default we were seeing with all those players on Ivy. They've mixed things up. They wanted to have Fallen in different positions at the beginning of the rounds. Now that he has an AWP,
yeah, it makes sense to make him be more dynamic, let him move around a bit, see if he can't find some picks, slow things down. And they'll still have KNG and Mayern working Ivy though, so it's still a little bit more of a heavy lean toward Ivy for a default, but not quite the triple. Again, Made in Brazil, outside of that one fast outer play, they have been very, very slow and methodical with how they've approached each and every round, which is kind of classic Fallen CS, to be fair. Like, that's kind of a throwback, and I feel like for a while they've been a bit lost strategically, so it's nice to see them get a little more of a foundation, and that's a great little double drop down on ladder room to take out Aerial. It's so hard to pull that off, to be fair, and they actually do so about the best you could hope for. And
Ali's having to make a risky play here. He's going to have to push around Olofmeister by himself, scoped in. He knows there are players close enough. He cannot unscope at this point. He's got to stay scoped in. He's got to guess correctly. And here he just sees a little bit of us. But can he find the frag? He's holding the corner here. I don't know if his barrel will show. He's going to hear Mayan running around as well. He's pulled out his deagle. Again, he doesn't want to scope as he'll give away a sound cue. And at this point, it's very important to have that surprise, the element of surprise. And he certainly will do. Ali's about to catch Mayan, I think. And indeed, he gets the headshot onto Mayan, and Sunny indeed also gets himself a frag, so it's getting desperate now for the Brazilians.
And indeed it is. Just these aggressive positionings are really hard, and now there's no time to plant this bomb, you had to imagine. He's going to try, but no, Sergey is wise to the timing, able to get that kill. And that was just a case of ENCE getting assertive in a couple different positions all at once, and every single aggression worked out. Alu gets his kill, pressed up close T-Con. He also got the info about that push out. For a teammate to get to collect the kill onto Fur, I believe that went down. And then they also had that guy up close on Ivy that didn't get checked. So just a couple of miscues, I guess you say, from Made in Brazil on some of the angles they were trying to clear. It winds up being very costly. And now they have to work with very little in this one. Save it for last.
Well, great pick from KNG, goes straight out there to kill the player crossing to ladder room and create some attention towards that A bomb side as they move into the B bomb side instead, but Sergey's there ready and waiting with the Krieg. The spray is going to land his mark, and it doesn't really seem like there's too much left to do here, and indeed, ENCE will close down another round, looking at a 9-5 scoreline. A great recovery for ENCE. Struggle bus is where they spent most of their time this series, but they finally gotten off the struggle bus, and they're having some success.
Final round in play. Falling back on AWP. AK this time for KNG. No SG. And he is going to very quickly hop out into Olaf, trying to run down, but Alu was waiting for that play. Actually does tag him, tries to finish it off with the nade. It misses, but he gets the op shot as a parting gift. But a couple of kills coming from Made in Brazil in the process, and they actually have a pretty big advantage because of it.
Oh my god, he gets a
so
headshot.
Crazy.
That doesn't make any sense, to be honest. I think that's a crime. Put that man in prison. And now it's just Sergey left. What is going on in this round is it pushes all over the place. Oh my god. Sergey with that Krieg. It's a very powerful weapon, especially at these ranges. It's going to have to be... Never mind. Never mind.
Not much to be said there, is it? A great little comeback, though, from ENCE to actually take the lead after a slow start. We'll see if they can continue on.
But MIBR, we're moving on to that CT side, and the way they've been playing so far, I am very suspect of Fallen just killing everyone.
Yeah, ENCE has still some work to do to try to get us into a third map. At least they do have the edge coming into the second half thanks to a nice little comeback there in the first half on their CT side. And they've done a lot of damage already early into this one. A couple of players are very, very low on health right now, and they're starting to get those entries they need over towards the center bomb site, as well as outer. They're pressuring both sides at the same time very effectively. Bomb will be recollected there by Alu. 3-on-2 now. They have full control of the inner bomb site.
Oh, nicely done. Fallen picks up one. It's a very, very labored fight. They have no idea about Aerial, actually, coming in from the fight. Oh, gets caught out off guard, but still lands the headshot with the Glock, and it's going to be another round for ENCE. They picked up both pistols, actually. MIBR will likely force buy here. I'd be surprised if they don't, because they want to get the AWPs out on that fourth round.
Yeah, I think they want to double up. I think you're right.
And yeah, this is a great map to get the Deagles and the Scouts out. And what we know, Fallen loves a Scout. So, couple smoke grenades as well. Taco and Fer will be carrying those. In fact, also at third one, Mayan actually manages to get a smoke grenade as well. So this could be quite dangerous. We'll see if MIBR can offer anything up here. Oh dear, that is not the start that ENCE wanted. Mayan nails Aerial.
That's a toughie. That could be a great start here for Made Brazil, especially with Fallen having a Scout. He's so dangerous with that weapon. Even today, might be past his prime, but he still can certainly show a spark with that weapon. Also can just be kind of the assist master, even if he's not getting kills. He could be getting those tags for Mayern's MAC-10 and these Deagles to be able to finish things off. And now that it's lost Aerial, they're kind of at a standstill. They have a couple of players towards inner halls, a couple still towards T-Con. They're not really sure just yet what they want to do. Trying to see if anyone is going to get aggressive or at least hold a forward angle, but to no avail. Yeah. And Brazil disciplined, just staying back. And they're pushed ladder, and they have a lot of presence towards inner sight.
Normally, a T side will go B in these scenarios. That's like very commonly what you'll do, because you don't have to worry about a lot of positions. You can just get onto a plant quickly. But they try to take ladder room, and they'll get absolutely annihilated by the Deagle of Fer. The HE might finish him off. In fact, it did no damage, I think, even though it landed right behind him. There you go, Counter-Strike HEs. But Man will go down on the bomb site. But again, the bomb is still on the ground at ladder room, and Sunny, he can't make his way for it either. And the Deagles, they win the round, and just when you thought everything was going to go ENCE's way, well, it didn't. Everything goes sour quite quickly.
That's nightmare fuel, Dan.
It's a great shot from Mayan. Mayan has insane mechanics.
Yeah. When he was playing with Sharks in EPL, I think that was season 9. That was like kind of early last year. You could definitely just kind of see evidence that this guy had talent. It was all about what opportunity he would get. And it was a little bit of a cold start for him when he first joined the team. Like his first tournament, it was a little bit rough, but he's starting to develop and starting to learn his place on this team, you think. And now we're seeing ENCE have to work with just upgraded pistols, really. Already one player off the board. There's another. Well, that's it.
That is it, yep.
Not a whole lot to be said about that one. That was quickly over. Still not much money there for ENCE either, so seemingly Main Brazil will work their way closer and closer to double digits in their own right and perhaps tie this game up soon unless ENCE can respond in the next round.
I mean, the problem here for ENCE is that MIBR is going to get a really, really fast economy, and this is basically the perfect way for it to go for you on the CT side. You lose that first round, then you win the force buy. The economy of the T side is just wrecked. You can see they're playing pistols 2 rounds in a row. Look at Fergo, he's just having the time of his life with that MAC-10, and they lose one player, but the amount of money for MIBR that's just materialized, well, most players have between $6,000 and $9,000 at the beginning of this round, so that is kind of outrageous. And knowing that they are going to want to get those AWPs out there, it gives them the comfort to just make aggressive plays.
They didn't waste any time getting them out, Dan. They're out already.
Yeah.
Sun's out, guns out here in Anaheim. It's the double cannons here from Made in Brazil. Fallen and KNG, both towards outside with the snipers. Mayern actually taking a pretty aggressive position here towards Ivy early on as well.
ENCE holding really passively at the moment. It will start to get Ali to check for some of these more forward Ivy positions, and his job is just to create presence and threat here. He knows that there is a CT very likely close.
Interesting to see him playing this spot. Normally this would be a spot that like X7 would play on a default, as Sergey's usually the inners guy, and it's a boost that actually comes out and takes out Alu, so that's another problem to add to all that.
Oh no, and Sunny's going to have to go back there, it seems. That is not the plan. The plan is not to lose Alu there and have Sonny take up his position. You want to keep the pressure on Ivy to keep players towards the A bomb side as they go in for the B push. However, there is Taco playing very close.
Yep, and the ops support him from the backside as well. And Taco does go down, though, with no kills to his name to show for it. But again, KNG had rotated already with the op, and he's able to find a kill. Keeps it an advantage for Made in Brazil. This bomb is now finally getting planted, but it's coming at a cost of a lot of damage to these players thanks to an HE grenade. And Fur is wise to this flank at T-Con.
That's a huge bit of information, isn't it? They know where the other two players are, I think. So This is a huge problem. They're going to start moving forward. Fur going for that flank, but oh, beautiful. They were starting to worry about Fur. They just heard him stepping, and that was all that was needed, because then all the T's on the site start turning around to Fur, leaving their backs exposed to Fur's teammates. And Sonny, he's just been left out in the cold here.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate for him that Fur spotted him right away as he was lighter. And also what it allowed him to do was be like, hey, wait a second. If you're there, I can flank enter. You know, there's no one to stop me. They're both committed to the site. So that really played such a huge role in the round for Made in Brazil. A great retake. Great shot from KNG with the op to kick things off on that one as well.
And also as well, you know, getting that pick on Alu made all the difference, because that took Sonny away from that push. Maybe if that push has Sonny, it's going to be a lot more, well, it should be a lot more successful.
Right.
So that is not really how they wanted to start things off, and they're going to have to think about things here. They have around $4,000 a player at the moment, ENCE, as they take this time out. They could try to buy with at least like 1 or 2 players, or they could try to go for a half buy across every player. And it seems like that's going to be the result. They're going to buy down to roughly $2,000 on most players. And
yeah, I'm thinking you want to get Alu an op as soon as you can on this T side and see if he can't go to work. He's having a hell of a game, actually. 18 kills, pretty good ADR. He's been kind of the beacon of hope for them, I feel like, on this map at times.
MIBR just a map up if you are only just joining us, having a fantastic showing on a map that they haven't got any stats on in the last 3 to 6 months. That is Nuke. What a series to bring it down. If this goes to a third, we'll be in similar territory, as they will be on Overpass. Again, don't have any stats on that map for a long time. Nice double setup here. This is quite dangerous.
That smoke separates them from helping each other, though, but it's no problem for Taco. He pushes through anyhow, finds the kill, able to get out of dodge and start calling that this sidewalk push is coming into fruition from ENCE. And all the kills so far going the way of Made in Brazil, I guess to be expected on a round like this where ENCE didn't have much to work with except this AK from Sonny, and it will find nothing on its way out the door. Made in Brazil now take the lead back. They haven't had it actually in quite some time. They gave it up kind of midway through the first half, but now they've reclaimed it.
You got to give, again, Taco credit. He's a very smart player, like the way that he's handling all the timings, the angles he sees the smoke come in, pushes a little bit in front of it, understands, you know, how he can get ahead of the push. He has to come off of that high position, and he gets into safety. Everything with perfect timing and well-executed shots. Taco's having a great series so far, playing all of his positions very well, and he's got some incredibly important positions. The B anchor on this map, you're often alone playing this position.
Yeah, he's played here a lot of his career, so definitely very comfortable working this area of the map. As ENCE are back onto the full buy. They had the AWP for Alu as well. And again, they have him solo Ivy with it, which is very intriguing to me, because again, normally the X7 would be here. You'd want to use Alu towards T-Con, maybe towards inner halls, but or at least give him a support system, someone to flash for him, someone to help him have an easier time taking peeks down Ivy, but there's none of that. Again, the focus really is more towards inner halls and ladder, and just kind of leaving Alu out here by himself to see what he can come up with.
And there's that position that we're really familiar with. You know, Fallen playing that kind of hybrid position by the green train, looking after basically everything on one half of the map. You can see everything from there.
Remember, ENCE came into this game with a 4-game losing streak on Train on LAN and a 3-6 record overall since Sonny joined the team. So they were already coming in a battered team on Train, and so far things are looking dodgy, but we'll see if they can try to turn things around as the clock is ticking. They need to make a decision here quickly. They're going to try to go once again towards ladder. First shut them down last time. This time, a great timing on that flash will get them the control they need.
And Fallen has to fall back, but there's May at close range. He picks up one, but Fallen goes down when he tries to reposition. The timing impeccable from ENCE. And now it's down to Taco and KNG on the rotation. Oh, he found actually the delay. That's actually pretty huge. He can just push forwards now. Oh, can he get it again? Can he get it again? Oh, he can't. It's going to be the bomb planted there successfully. They had time. There was some damage done, though, and KNG, in that distraction, creeps forwards. He might find an opening, finds the shoulder. Oh, it's not quick enough, but he is still alive. He is still kicking, and there is still time to try to find a defuse on this bomb, but he has to bait these players into the open. Alu there whiffs the shot. And KNG, he needs to hit the shot of his life to take down one of these players, as they're not going to give him anything. There's the peek, it's a double peek, and it's another whiff, and that just can't happen. It's looking dead now for KNG. He might be able to escape with the orb if he's lucky, and looks like he'll be lucky this time.
Man, Taco was like 10 more hit points away from stopping the plant a second time and probably winning the round.
Yeah.
That was actually a really close call for ENCE. But you have to credit ENCE for what they did right that round, which was execute Fur at ladder very, very effectively. And this was some big work here from Aerial. Great headshots.
That first shot was actually just, that should not be allowed. Can we have a look at that one? That was insane. Because that kill as well, that was Fallen. I did wonder how he died, because I saw him rotating away, because he was, and it looked like he had just enough time to get away. But you could see that there was a millisecond that seemingly Aerial was able to catch a single shot onto his head as he was airborne.
Big crowd out there. We appreciate all of you showing up. Who thinks Made in Brazil is going to end this right here and now? Okay. Seems like a lot of fans out there from Brazil think they're going to finish this off. Is ENCE going to come back? Are we going to see a third map? Anybody? Yeah, about what I expected, to be fair, Dan. It's always risky with crowd interaction from the desk here, but you know, I love to do it. Love to see the people out there supporting the game. The game is continuing to grow, by the way.
We got a smart crowd out there.
Yep.
But in all seriousness, this is still wide open. 11-11 between these two teams, and Fallen posting up towards this Ivy position, daring them to peek him, and there is the classic run boost. Not going to be connecting that shot, as now the smoke comes through.
That was like a prayer putting that shot out. Like, it's one of those things where if you hit it, cool, but probably not going to happen. No harm, no foul on that, though.
He might be thinking to maybe catch a second player that might try to peek as the first player baits the shot. That's sometimes what the teams do, but it will be a trade towards ladder room. And I have to say, ENCE has been pretty good, actually, at getting that ladder control. That's been, Fur has not been so successful in consistently holding this position down.
Yeah, it's like, I think he's like 1 for 3 on that position so far this half, which certainly helps out. ENCE Mayern will take up the spot now, though, and still continue to make sure that that spot is defended properly. But it does mean that the defense is going to be spread a bit more thinly. Taco, though, holding a new angle this time, Dan, and this could be something that ENCE is not going to be prepared for. And there it is, gets the kill, gets the bomb down, still alive, still holding on, might be able to even find more and need a second taken care of by Taco. What a play by him to get the advantage for Made in Brazil.
That's such a dirty play from Taco. It's a one-and-done spot. He gets 2 from it. And now there's been enough time for his teammates to get in position, to get out of connector. And you can see ENCE will be stuck around the bomb train. KNG, oh no, it's X7. What a fantastic shot. Finding Fallen there. Now KNG will creep forwards. ENCE looking pretty good here to maybe convert this one. It's X7. Oh no, the timing. Poor X7. Couldn't have been worse on that timing. Alu now is up to him. Coming in from this upper position. A whiff from KNG. That gives Alu a chance here. He's going to pull out the knife here, going for the shot. Beautiful. Alu knows how to close it out, and he'll do just that. 12th round on the board for ENCE. That could have been anybody's, but Alu continues in form. 21 kills, 10 deaths. He is standing like a beacon of hope.
Yeah, I like how he didn't panic there. You know, he jumped down and he got into a spot where you could actually see that ankle poking out the smoke so he could line up the shot perfectly. So good to see him not get too panic on that. Very calm, cool, collected. He's a Finn, so not surprising, I guess. But also a big win for ENCE because that round seemed to be Made in Brazil. If I remember, Taco's big play at Inner Halls, getting the 2 kills, getting I think that was a like 4-on-3 or 3-on-2 that he had for his team at that moment. And so it seemed like Made in Brazil were going to have a chance to extend their lead, but instead, ENCE are going to surpass Made in Brazil once more.
But this is one of those rounds, Dust, where it's round 24. We're almost at the end of regular time, and both teams have just spent every single bit of cash. So this is one of those spots which could dictate the momentum moving forwards. This round could dictate the winner, potentially. And those nades will do some damage to Aerial. Both teams really want to get that opening advantage. Oh my god, Fallen is lucky to be alive. taking one straight in the face, but living to tell the tale.
Yeah, damage exchanged for both sides, but no one's really found a foothold just yet in the round. Fallen, though, spotting T's dropping around T-Con and does dispatch of Alu. Nice headshot there from him, doing the extra damage. Now the first decision towards Ivy. Misses, but still alive, still buying time, still holding his ground, and there's another one onto Aerial. Again, Fallen known for how he handles the pressure of being closed on. When his back's against the wall, he can deliver, and he's going to continue to do so with KNG's assistance as well, leaving Sunny all by his lonesome.
What do you do if you're Sunny in this position? Fallen has 1 HP. He got dinked at the beginning of the round. He almost died, but then he converts that into a 3K, decimating the ENCE push. That is what he does. That is who he is from that position. A power player, and KNG is going to jump across the angle. He was the guy who had HP. Fallen and Taco don't have almost any to their name, and there is some time here for Sunny to try to work them out, but they know where he is. There's only 2 potential avenues that he can now emerge from, and this is one of those 2. And Fallen's on that position. Who better to close the round down with 1 single point of health? Of course, it's Fallen with the quad kill, and he's going to shut down the round.
See, I'm the kind of guy that doesn't really pick favorites in CS. I try to remain pretty objective, but it is nice to see Fallen like back in shape like this with the op. You know, this is reminiscent of 2016 Fallen. This is reminiscent of the guy that, you know, people feared. You know, a guy that people learned from. You know, I think even Device mentioned how he used to like watch Fallen demos to kind of learn his positioning and you know, how he held certain angles. And I feel like a lot of people tried to pick up and learn from Fallen because he was that smart opper. Maybe not crazy flashy, high-speed flick shots or anything like that, but he was just steady and he was really good in pressure. And that was a big play from him in that round. And now it's just pistols for ENCE. Fur already finding one with the SMG. All the rest of ENCE are now funneled to Ivy. And that TV got wrecked.
Indeed. It is important for a player like Fallen as well to really leave his mark on the game, because that's when they're their best. Like, genuinely speaking, he is an immense talent, and we talked about how important that previous round was. That round where Fallen got that quad kill. We talked about it. It set up the winner of that round to have the huge economic advantage moving forwards, and that's exactly what MIBR have now. They've got such a strong advantage moving into the dying rounds of this map, and it could be the last rounds of this series unless ENCE wake up in this one.
Yeah, their T side has been pretty tough. I mean, they won pistol and they've won 2 gun rounds. In the meantime, Made Brazil have won 7 of the 10 played thus far in this half, so they've had a very successful CT side. No double op in play this time, though. That is something to take into account. KNG will be just on the M4 first, still trying to farm with the MP9, trying to get as much out of it as he can. Take a look at that wonderful trophy on stage these teams are battling for, as well as for their lion's share of the $100,000 prize pool, and of course for the ranking points, and also the winner of this tournament going over to Jan Scherping, which I probably pronounced horribly wrong, but that's the next DreamHack Masters event coming up later on in the summer. So there's a lot on the line in this tournament. Absolutely. With the new Pro Tour.
Jan Scherping, the home of DreamHack.
Oh, thank you. Production said I pronounced it right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And here goes the push straight into the outer bomb side once again, trying to capitalize on the chaos and falling up on top of the train. And I think he actually connected that indeed, Sergey, down to 4 HP. And now Fallen now will slither away back towards the hell position. And Parker's now made his presence known. He's the only one standing. He's got to win this fight to try to gain access to the A site. He's able to creep through, or maybe not, actually. After I say that, he will get taken out by Aerial. And ENCE, I like it. Great response. You know, they're maybe sitting in the doldrums, not feeling... Well, they're feeling a bit deflated. Get a fast play out there. Get that energy up high. And they managed to succeed in the high-octane action outside.
And they kind of have made Brazil up against the ropes right now, too. The economy is looking real grim right now for the Brazilian side, but they did find a way somehow to funnel a double out setup in play. It came at a sacrifice to a couple of other players, but they do get it out. And we'll see KNG taking his op towards inner, so that is the adjustment from Main Brazil on their initial defense. They want an op over blocking off this inner halls. It's going to help them be a lot more free and even for stacking the outer bomb site. And I don't think they've had to deal with an op at inner yet, so that could really catch them off guard.
Yeah, it's mostly just Taco's shenanigans, which have been maybe enough most of the time to deal with. He's been so good there. But no, you're absolutely right. And it does give them that ability to cheat a player over towards that A site and be somewhat comfortable in doing it. And that also gives, you know, more fodder for Fallen to kind of dance around, as his teammates are so good at keeping bullets away from him and allowing him to work his magic with that AWP. KNG now showing his presence with the AWP, and that might actually, further commit ENCE away from inner. Have to see how they respond. They've got lots of time, and they could still make this an inner play with the positioning that they have as they start to set up some outside smokes.
Just brought Taco back, though, up close on the ramp, so that's going to be that added defense, actually playing on top of the train with the MP9, but decides to drop down behind that smoke. Smoke's being set up towards outer from ENCE. They do have a couple players towards ladder room as well, so they definitely want to try to split this outer bomb site, it seems. CT's playing passive over towards Ivy and bomb train, but Fallen does have that AWP. It's going to be hard to deal with him, and he's already going to find one.
It's a good shot. Fur sitting by Sandwich. No one's found him. He gets another one. That is a huge problem. They'll eventually take down Fallen. And Sonny does find Fur as well. That is a miracle. It feels like there's a chance they're still in this one. Sergey, 10 seconds left that bomb. I don't think he's going to have time to plant this one. He now doesn't have any time at all. He's trying to wrap around the red train, but it's not going to happen. He's just going to have to get out of there, hold on to the weapon. And it looks like MIBR will pick it up by the skin of their teeth. That was backwards and forwards all over the place. Just crazy action. It's so hard to know what is going to happen when the dust settles. But this time, MIBR came out on top. And
yeah, a lot of credit to Fur here, just playing Sandwich. No one really checked him, able to have a lot of freedom to move around here, get a couple of big kills. That was the key kills of the round. And now Main Brazil 1 round away from not only map point, but series point, a chance at a decider best of 3 later on today for a shot at playoffs. ENCE Cash has another group stage exit in front of them if they can't figure this out. And again, the disappointment will continue to build on that team, you feel like. Again, we talked about that earlier. Like, any team who loses now continues that downward trajectory trend that they're trying to get out of.
Indeed, it is important. An eerie moment of silence.
Yeah.
As ENCE just relax for a moment, and
they don't have much to work with here either. It's the problem. It's like they're almost having to concede map point in a way. They had the AK Sergey save, but that's about it. They had to keep their money in order to buy next round. So they have to either pull off some type of heroics here, or they have to just play for the OT.
And at the moment, MIBR are playing a setup around the green train, 3 players, and committing 2 to B. So they don't really know what's going on, but they're just trying to play a safe setup for both sides. That's what they're doing here. For the supporting rifler, looking after Ivy, making sure that Fallen has that heat away from him, and that Fallen can maintain focus towards his team main position currently. And he'll spot 2 jumping across.
Yep. That's going to prompt him to pull out the incendiary to try to slow down this push a little bit so he can focus his aim over towards ladder, try to keep all angles covered as best as possible with these 3 players. And Fur taking care of things over at Ivy. A couple of big kills there from him. Ariel is able to trade it back and was looking for Fallen as well there for a moment. Sergey, in the meantime, has found a way to flex himself into outside. He finds the kill also, but only one. Fallen quickly trades him back, and now it's all on Ariel, running out of time and out of health, it might seem, as there's 2 CTs left against him. Tried his damnedest, but it's just not enough in Main Brazil. Series point now in front of them.
Yeah, very well played indeed. It feels like MIBR have been the better team across this series so far, I think it's fair to say. I think ENCE, credit to the resilience that they have shown, at least on train for sure, because they had again, like a lot of awful situations and a lot of struggles, but they're keeping their heads in the game and making this competitive. Right. And it's not done just yet as well. Still a chance for ENCE to turn everything around, force the 3rd map, and they have to first get the overtime here, and there's only 2 rounds they must win now to do so. Starting off with a 2-1-2 default, and Alu gets a pick onto the most important player for that A defense. That's Fallen.
That's so huge. Alu's had kind of a hard time finding a way to make his op useful on this T side. He hasn't really been given a lot of looks or a lot of opportunities to try to make plays happen, but that time he does get it. Fur trying to get something back by getting aggressive towards the T connector. He actually beats the timing on Sonny's Molotov to get into that position as well, so that could be a problem. Taco also playing a bit of an off angle towards upper inner, which could be a real problem for ENCE if they're not careful. And you have to respect this from Main Brazil. They have to kind of do things like this to try to fight their way back in the round, and it might just work out. Taco, though, being spotted by Ariel. It's going to clear out the inner bomb side. It's wide open now. No one's here left defending.
And it's over, pretty much, in this round.
Unless this bomb goes outer. Let's hold the phone. There's 3 defenders here that could get this bomb down, perhaps, but no, it does shuffle out of there. So, yeah, you're probably right. It's probably over.
Don't throw that bit of variance into the mix. Just like, oh, let's just go to the
And main Brazil will save these weapons, right?
I've seen teams do that before, and then they like run into the CTs who are like running to save, and then the bomb goes down. And it's like, uh-oh. You know, we've made a terrible mistake.
Yes.
But it looks like they will go for the correct play and plant the bomb in the safe location. And we're going to get ourselves it's going to be round 30 to decide whether this goes to overtime or not. Ends with a very respectable round. And, you know, starting off with a pick on the Fallen created a lot of problems for MIBR. And, you know, Taco's position, those spots, it's really difficult. If you peek them correctly, you know, because Taco had this left eye versus right eye position. So if the player who's coming in, which from the T perspective, you're the right eye peeker, you will have the advantage in that particular angle. So you got to be really careful if you're Taco, and that's why a lot of pros will actually jiggle as well, because they'll jiggle peek stuff so that if they're at a disadvantageous angle, they'll get contact and information, but not commit themselves to the unfavorable engagement, but still get to hold that angle for a moment. But in that case, it didn't work out for Taco.
No, it did not. You couldn't blame him, though. Again, it was one of those things where when you're behind and around, you have to try to take little gambles like that to try to fight your way back in. If you just play standard, you're probably going to get overwhelmed. It just didn't pan out that time. But they were able to at least save some weapons. That is the key. That means an op is going to be able to get passed over to Fallen. They're going to be able to get some rifles out as well. And it all comes down to this. Are we going to see an overtime? We've already seen a few of those in the last series on Vertigo.
Yeah.
That was a great way to start the day. Crazy upset from Endpoint, of course, in that series. And now we're trying to see who can get out of free fall first. ENCE are main Brazil after a rough last few months. Main Brazil do have advantage, up 15-14, but there is that chance ENCE with this buy could push this to OT. No double op, though, is the key. They didn't get that second op saved over.
That's a big chance gone for Alu, catching the player going across E-box to a ladder room.
This is ballsy from Fallen.
This is how he does it, though. There's a smoke from a teammate to get himself out safely. Nice little setup there between Taco and Fallen. That is the kind of stuff, though, that you do have to do at the top level. That an unexpected angle with the orb to get that early 5v4, but they don't get it. Nor did Alu, because Alu got a chance too. So, oh, there's the totem pole drop. And Ferg dies again. He's not having success against that.
No, indeed he's not. He's lost it more often than he's won battles there, that's for sure. That's really helped out ENCE on a couple of different occasions. It could be yet the same story in this round. Mayern also just gets caught on a bad timing. He was caught between two mines, and Ariel is going to sniff him out. It's all on Fallen, Taco, and KNG now against 5 ENCE members, most of which are now pressing into his inner sight. Taco left alone with the Deagle, trying his best to buy time, find kills where he can, but no one's really giving him a look. In the meantime, Fallen's been trading out with KNG, Alu with another kill, and it's not looking good. It's looking like OT.
Fallen's still alive, though, with the orb, and he's making his way in. No support. It's a man and an orb. And he will go down. Overtime has indeed been secured. Great stuff from ENCE to do so. Honestly, there's so many things that were working against them, but they kept their heads in the game, and they made it here to overtime, and it's not over just yet.
Indeed, it's not. And remember, it is MR3 16K, a race to 19. 18-18 means another overtime, and there's plenty of money in play each and every round thanks to the 16K start money. And I mean, it's hard to say who comes in feeling better about things in this OT. I mean, it seemed like main Brazil controlled the game almost every step of the way. Even there were some ties, but main Brazil quickly jumped back ahead. It wasn't until literally the last 2 or 3 rounds of the game that we saw ENCE make that last-ditch effort to keep this game going. And so, if they can carry that momentum, great, but I feel like main Brazil were the better-looking team throughout the game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. But that said, ENCE are looking to change that story. They've been stepping things up here. Double flashbang play for the Ivy aggression, but they'll tease out in the outer positions as well. They can be all over the place, and they could have inner control now as well. So, oh my god, X7, great push, finds himself one on the bomb train, and now it's going to be a bit awkward here for MIBR. They're feeling that pressure, but ENCE are not committed to the outer bomb site. X7 was out there for a long time, but eventually now, he will get dealt with. You know, just enough time had to pass. Oh dear, that's a great angle for Sergey to hold. That's beautiful. And once again, first struggling to find that value into the ladder room. Didn't seem to consider that a player could be holding that position.
Uh-oh, and look at this. Aerial sneaking into inner. They can do so much with this thing. They can shuffle the bomb back over, knowing that the site is fully under their control. Aerial can also backstab through back halls or through Z. There's so many possibilities here for Aerial, and they have no idea. And he spots the barrel, Fallen's AWP is going to get right behind him, gets the headshot, clears the rest of inner sight. The bomb can come in safely. And this round seems to be sliding through Made in Brazil's fingers now. It wasn't even 3-on-3 for a bit. There was a hope for anyone, but now that hope is lost as the Finns punch in the digits and probably lock the round in.
ENCE played so well off of having one player be very aggressive in the yard. With a couple of smokes down, a couple of flashbangs out there, you know, the initial pick to really sell it and to create a lot of rotation. And then they pushed everything after that. And that was a really big problem. They had pressure everywhere. So many holes in the defense. Really very well played by ENCE. And they're going to take down everybody. Okay, so ENCE starting things off really well.
Yeah, big start to this OT for ENCE to get that one again, as you noted, and as we've been kind of discussing, Fur having a tough time on that ladder room defense. At least this time he got one kill for his efforts, but it's still not enough. Still gave ENCE so much space. And so here we go, next round of OT. Double op still in play for Made in Brazil. KNG taking his op towards inner. Haven't seen him be successful there yet with it, though, to be fair, but there it is. Reverse caster's curse? Not quite sure how you define that, but...
It's good, though, to get that mixed up, get KNG in these positions every so often, get that opening kill. Once you have that opening kill as a team, whether you're on the CT side or the T side, you can have some protocols as to how you shuffle your rotations and your defense or your offense, respectively, to account for that. Because you don't need as much information if you've got the man advantage. So you don't have to have as much position. If you have less position, it's less risky. You can cover each other better.
Yeah. First said, I'm not going to be there this time around, guys. You guys can just have that space. And Fallen actually watching with the AWP, that's probably going to be different for ENCE. They're probably not used to having to deal with this as they come out this location. If they decide to come out here, they might even just shuffle back and go forward towards inner. Hard to say at this moment. I think they're just trying to see what they can find first. Seeing if anybody might push late into ladder or something like that.
Oh. Gets caught again with that rotation. That's the second time Aerial's caught him doing that. And in goes Sergey. This is it. They're pushing everywhere at once. That's the bomb there in inner as well. And that's actually where MIBR hold on to. So with 35 seconds left and the rotation through the ladder for the bomb, there might be a chance. There's the bomb. KNG's caught it. It's now down on the ground. It's got to be collected, but they have to traverse these open spaces against the AWP. But there goes the AWP. Sunny and Aerial lock it down. Very well played from Aerial, I have to say. He had a fantastic round.
Yeah, it's just Fallen getting caught on the retreat was the big problem there. It forced a lot of scrambled rotations. Even with KNG catching that op kill onto ladder, he couldn't account for him being flanked. Aerial, such a big maneuver there. Wins his team the round. They are now 2 rounds up in OT, a couple of rounds away from forcing us a third map, which would be Overpass.
ENCE finally started to find some great solutions here. A quick trade inner will create problems for MIBR. It's certainly a more favorable scenario for the T side, that is for certain, when you get a 4v4 like this with so much time on the clock. You see, you know, the T side can just kill the clock a little bit and reset the situation. And look at this push. Fallen has a disadvantage here on this angle. And as you can see, yeah, X7 had a better, he had the scope as well, so just a better angle, unfortunately. Fallen couldn't have known.
This is tough. ENCE looking so powerful in this overtime. They've won these rounds pretty decisively, if we're honest, and they might just win out 3-0 and set themselves up to be 1 round away from a map 3. Made in Brazil need to dig deep here to try to keep themselves in the race of a 2-0. Defense is split, very spread thin with these 3 remaining members. 2 towards outer, 1 at passive inner. And seemingly gathering up here for a triple Ivy play.
Look at the delay here from ENCE. They have to be so careful that they don't put themselves in a bad position by delaying so much. Really trying to make it look like a B play, keep the players on B, but You can see that MIBR understand that this is a fake at this point, and ENCE moving fairly slowly is still. I mean, they will have 3 players. You're pretty close to the A bomb train at this point. Fer looking to hold on to that. If Fer can keep this position, that's going to cause problems. Because then they'll have coverage of both sides of the bomb train. KNG getting closer, emerging from old bomb, goes for the play, quick scope onto Aerial, and now tapping the bomb. Someone has to go out and peek this. But no one's going to peek it. They don't believe. They don't believe. They are non-believers. Oh my god, the timing from Sunny is perfect. And there you go, the clean sweep, 18-15. It's looking like it's very likely we'll go to a 3rd map unless we'll get a clean sweep for another overtime dust.
Yeah, it's
but
so hard.
I
feel like it's so difficult to come back from a clean sweep in OT, especially T-side train. Now, we do know that Made in Brazil's T-side was, you know, fairly up to snuff. But is it going to be enough for 3 in a row? That's really a tough one to get behind.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask for. That is for certain. But again, overtime is when things get a little bit weird. And
yeah,
MIBR, they need a bit of weirdness to get themselves back into winning ways, perhaps.
They go double op, but Mayern and KNG. That is interesting. Maybe it's based on spawns. Maybe Mayern had a better spawn for the inner pick.
It looks like that is the case. He does have the best in his spawn. And he is not going to get anything. KNG waiting for the hell peek from an Ivy player who wants a little bit too much.
So Fallen and Mayern do trade over to the more expected formation after that initial look into inner. And so this is one of the plays that they actually never ran in regulation, but we knew that they had it in store for us. They've used it in other games. What can they find with it now, though?
Just AWPing this position is really interesting.
Yeah.
If he drops down and no scopes Aerial, I will lose it. Oh my god! I can't. That's just Fallen, isn't it? Just in a nutshell.
I'm glad you didn't risk something more, dangerous with that call. You only just risked that you would lose it, which is a very abstract,
and
call,
it was a quick scope as well.
Yeah.
So.
Wasn't quite what you
That's just what on earth do you do against that? That's just
I don't know.
Oh no, X7's getting caught out here as well. Surely he'll get flanked. There it is, coming out of T main, Fer with a vengeance. And now they got the 4v3. They have 30 seconds to plant the bomb, so that's enough time.
It is indeed enough time unless someone starts dropping some kills, which could be Sunny, already hanging out here on the bomb train, waiting for that very moment so he can strike when he's most needed. But look at these T's swarming from all directions, really starting to put the pressure on Sunny. But Sunny so far has been up to the task. He's continuing to dish out blows left and right to Made in Brazil. It's only now 2 standing, trying to plant this bomb. Mayern has to fake it, wheeling around the bomb train, does find Sergey, but time is so low, and Alu is oh so close to him. As Z comes out the smoke, but Mayern spots it, but can't get the kill. Alu instead the victor, and with that, the map goes the way of ENCE, and we will indeed actually need that 3rd map to figure things out.